Hey everyone, I'm Kevin with Victory 4x4. In today's video, we're going to be installing our bed front MOLLE panel in this second gen Chevy Colorado. Now your panel itself is going to consist of three pieces. So here I have the center and the driver side section of the panel. The passenger side is going to install identical to this, so we'll just show you one side real quick. Basically, you overlap the center section, laying it on top of the outside, and then you're going to have a series of 5 holes along the seam as well as the bottom right here. In those holes, you'll be installing the shorter of the 1/4 20 button heads in your bolt pack, along with serrated flange nuts on the back side of the panel. With all 5 of those started loosely, you'll grab a 5/32 hex to tighten them up, and then you'll repeat that process on the other side to get that passenger side assembled. Next, we have logo plates to go in the top of the center panel here. These are just going to slide in on the back side. They already have pre-installed nuts, and you'll then just need to find the stainless number 10 fasteners to thread in here. With that hardware started, you just need an 1/8" hex for these to get them tightened up. We can then install our lower mounting brackets. So I have the driver and passenger side here. We'll set the passenger side off to the side real quick and install this driver one. Basically, you're using more short 1/4 20 button head hardware here. You'll slide the bracket in on the back side with the mounting flange kind of protruding toward the rear of the truck. You can then install both of your bolts here. You can snug these up now if you choose, or leave them just a little bit loose, knowing that you have to make some adjustment to them later on, and then go install the other side. Now up in the front of the bed, you have a couple brackets we need to install before the panel goes in. So you're first going to look for 3 of these black plastic caps up here toward the top. You're going to have some sort of pry tool, probably even a flat screwdriver would work here, to get these popped out and removed. And then you'll need the bracket as well as the backer plate and a 5/16 bolt from your bolt pack. These are a button head as well, so you'll slip the bolt through the bottom side of the mount. You'll thread the backer on roughly halfway down that, like so. And then you'll slip this through the slot in the front of the bed, and then kind of center it up over that slotted hole location. I like to just kind of keep a little bit of pressure out with one hand, and then grab a 3/16 hex to tighten this up. And as long as you keep pressure out on that, it should not spin that backer plate. It'll tighten up right about there, and then you can fully tighten that bolt. So the remaining 2 we'll install in the outside holes in the same fashion. Again, the key here is to make sure you get this one nice and centered, because that'll kind of locate the panel in the truck, and then any minor adjustments that need to be made to get the upper mounting fasteners lined up can be done on the outside too. From there, you can grab your assembled panel and slide it in here, lining it up with your brackets, and you'll secure that with the remaining 3 1/4 20 button heads. With your panel in and secured by the top hardware, it should be held pretty much parallel to the front of the bed, but just to be sure, you do want to take a measurement down here. Now I did put down a piece of blue tape, just since we're working and marking on top of the bed liner. You may be inclined to do the same depending on whether or not your truck's just raw painted or what material you have covering it up here. So I'm going to put the tape measure in alongside. It's going to make it a little tricky for you guys to see it here on camera, but what's important is that this forward hole on the mounting bracket, forward being toward the front of the truck, is going to land right at 4 inches here on our tape measure. And with it held there, we'll make a mark at each hole location with our marker, and then do the same thing over on the other side. With the holes marked, we are going to have to do a little bit of drilling here to install our rivnut inserts. To do that, you may be able to just remove this bracket and kind of push the panel forward in the bed and make enough room. But again, it's only held with 3/4 inch bolts. It's pretty much just as easy to get this whole panel out of our way one time here, so that we can safely drill those holes and not damage any of our panel or mounting bracket here. Now when it comes to actually drilling here, we're first going to want to center punch each of our hole locations. And then from there, we're going to use a series of drill bits, starting with a small 1/8 inch for a pilot hole and working our way all the way up to our 10mm drill bit hole size. That's what you're going to need to accept these M6 rib nuts. So starting out here, we'll drill both of these out. Continuing to step up in size, I think I have a 1/4 inch bit here, and again, we'll drill out both holes. And once again, finishing them off with that 10mm drill bit. With both of those drilled, we'll get our tape out of the way, along with at least most of our debris around the holes here, and then we want to confirm that our rib nut is going to fit. It should be at least a little bit snug in there, so feel free to kind of press on that just a little bit to make sure it goes in. Now if you haven't done so already, you'll need to assemble the rib nut installation tool that you've been seeing here. So this is essentially a long M6 hex head bolt along with a washer, followed by the hex high nut there, a star washer, and then you'll thread the rib nut insert onto the end. With that assembled, this can go down in the hole here. You'll then need a 1/2 inch wrench to hold the high nut while you drive the bolt with a 10mm socket here from the top. And since we've done this a lot with an impact, I'm pretty familiar with what to expect, how this is going to sound. If you haven't done these very much, kind of use some extra caution. You can always back the tool out and take a look at whether or not the rib nut is compressed, but the worst thing you could possibly do is overdrive it and potentially damage the rib nut, pulling the threads out of it. So take your time here and get these installed properly. So I'll drive this one in now. And right about here is where I hear our impact kind of laboring a little bit, so I'll back it out. That one looks nice and evenly compressed in the sheet metal here on the bed. It looks like it's nice and tight. It's not going to spin in there, so we'll move on and do the same thing in our second hole, as well as the two over on the other side of the truck. With all 4 of your rib nuts in place, you'll obviously want to clean up any debris you have left over there. You can then get your panel back in place and line up your lower mounting bracket, and then thread in your black M6 button heads down here. With both of these started in your mounting bracket, you'll grab a 4mm hex to tighten these. Then you can grab your 5/32 hex and tighten the bracket to the panel down here, as well as work your way back through and just double check all of your mounting hardware. With all that hardware tight, this installation is now complete. As always, if you guys have any questions at all about this install or anything else we offer here at Victory 4x4, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can always send us an email at info@victory4x4.com or call us at 269-459-8447.